I'm CK. A couple of months ago I built a small Tesla coil. I'll put a link in the description if I remember, which I probably won't. And that was kind of fun. So we went up one. Now we're going to put together a medium Tesla coil. We'll see how easy it is to put together, how big arcs it can make, and I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, let's see what's in the box. Now I apologize. The box is already open because when I got this, I didn't know what it was, so I opened it up just to see. So here we've got a circuit board, pretty simple. Looks like a big old capacitor, a diode, a signal generator. I don't think that comes with, but we'll see. It's got a cute little logo on the board. That's nice. Pretty simple circuit board, which you'd expect. A Tesla coil doesn't have significantly complicated operation. Here's some double-sided tape, foam tape. And then there's the build guide. What else do we have in here? We have a bunch of bubble wrap, which is not fun. Okay, so that looks like a nice pre-wound secondary coil. That's good. And the top, round with, it looks like it was made in two halves. And there's a seam there. They sealed it up with copper tape. That's nice. There's the secondary coil again, more copper tape. Piece of wire, I think that'll be the primary coil. Some stuff. Some acrylic type stuff. And then this, and again I know this because I peeked a little bit ahead, this is kind of nice. This is some plastic pieces that are going to be what you support the primary coil on, which is nice instead of having it kind of uneven, which can create a less effective charge. See what all is in here. This is a very simple Tesla coil as such things go. Here's spacers and nylon or plastic screws. Here's a big old capacitor, which I'm not going to touch. Let me get my, where's my grounding? There it is. Use my capacitor discharge wand. There's a bunch of resistors in here. It's good for, I have this for guitar amps to make sure the smoothing caps in those are fully discharged. We've got this little guy here, which is already pre-made. It's obviously a bunch of high-power transistors, some surface mount caps, a regular electrolytic cap, some looks like a transistor, and another chip in there which I can't see the number of. I could probably bend up that cap and take a look at it. I may do that later. Some more wire to attach things, a little transformer coil. There's a bug flying in front of my face, but that's not included in the kit. That comes for free. We've got I don't know what that is. It's got blue marking. ST75A. Not sure what that is. A pin header. It's a pin header without a And it can go there, it looks like, but well, it wouldn't because it's got one too many pin. I don't know what that's going to be for. And one of these things, I forget what these are, but I've got two of them. Power cable, or power connector, just one resistor, an LED, on-off switch with a little cap to put on it, and that's it. So the assembly of this is going to be pretty straightforward and simple. So we'll go ahead and get the soldering iron heated up and put this thing together. The first thing we're going to do, they have a very good build guide, and the build guide also includes some modifications that you can do. And the other thing, these are discharge gaps, ceramic, and they're fragile. And he gave us two of them, a 300 watt or volt and a 350 volt. I don't particularly know what I'll use, but that's okay. And this is a diode. But first things first, we're going to put this foam under the signal generator and under the capacitor. Now we're going to put the cap in, and it is not polarized. Now one thing I will say, this is from HandsMagic, and wherever they're located, handsmagic.cc. I don't know what a .cc is, but I can tell you from the US it's hard to reach. In other words, it's a slow connection. So we'll put the big old cap in here, bend that out. So we're going to put the transformer coil. We want to do it correctly, and there is, you can see the wire here. And again, there are good directions, so you don't have to rely on looking at this for that. Put that in there. The pins are a little cattywampus, so it may need a little manipulation to get them to go in right. There we go. Bend those a little bit, just so it doesn't walk around on me. Then we'll put the high voltage diode in. I think this is the direction it goes in. I'm just hoping here, because this part, oh yes, it is the right way. See how much I have to bend it. So the cathode side is indicated by this stripe and these little circles with dashes connecting them. Okay, I'm going to solder this stuff that I've already got in place using some thicker solder today. I'm using a good bit of it. And holding my iron and the solder on it a little longer than normal, so I can make sure it wicks really well, so there's a good solid connection for this high voltage stuff. Okay, we'll drop our little LED in here. And along with the LED, we'll put the current limiting resistor in there for the LED. And while we're here, we may as well put the switch on. So I'll lay everything flat down. So the switch came right out. Of course the switch came right out. So I'll fix that up in a second, but while I got it flipped over, may as well do this. Now we'll put the power connector on. Which way do you want to go, power connector? You want to go off to the side, but you're not. Oh, because I'm putting it on the wrong side, because I'm just a silly person. Igniter socket. Oh, I see. That's what it's doing. Okay. So the igniter sockets, as I said, they're delicate, and they are also, they wear out. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the pin header that I didn't know where the other side for was in there like that, and then we're going to bend the leads on the spark gap igniter and poke them into the pin header. So we're not, so we can replace it without desoldering anything or something like that. Let's go ahead and put, I think these all go the same way. So I'm going to put the igniter in. I'm not going to trim the leads. They show the leads trimmed, and I might do that, but I want to make sure that I'm getting it in the holes first. And I don't think I'm going to need to change that much. Now we've got the high voltage signal generator. Under here is an MCU. Here's that cap. Here's 2 MOSFETs and a 7805. We're putting 4 wires on this. Looks like we're attaching 2 to where the capacitor already is, and then 2 here. So this is the input, positive and negative. So let's do that. Let's take our little wire here. Let's get a rough idea of, I don't know why this has got 2 12-volt inputs. But let me see what this all looks like. You want to go there and there. Okay. Okie dokie. So these don't have to be very long. That looks good. I'm going to put the outlet wire, output wire, I'm going to use the yellow wire for no other reason than I want to have something different, just to another way to prevent myself from confusing myself. Now we can put them where they go. I don't see, this kind of just sits there. Oh, he says, put glue on here. Oh my gosh. He has a crustier, his picture of his hot glue gun, that's crustier than most of my tools. And that's saying a lot. So we're going to go, this one 12 volt goes there, and again I'm going to use my locking tweezers to capture that well while I solder it. And while I'm soldering these wires, I'll go get my glue gun and get it warmed up. I'm putting it in the wrong place because underneath this piece of foam, there's the 2 connections I wanted, but the foam covered it up. I'm going to get the wires arranged, get this ready, see if my glue gun's heated up yet. Oops! Sure is. Got it all over the place. Go ahead and put a little hot glue down. and squish the board down before it cools off. Give it a little pressure. And that'll be good. And I'll unplug the hot glue gun so I don't put my hand on it. Because I have done that before. And it hurts. I'm going to put the cap on the on-off switch while I'm here too. So there's the board. The only difference that you'll probably want to do is cut the leads down on the discharge cap. So we'll set that aside for the minute. Now we're going to put the stand together. So we're going to do wire looms are all on. Before we go any further, I'm going to put the base together with this main board here so I don't forget. And when we get to a point, now we've got two different size screws. And I'm going to assume, because of the way this goes, that this is going to have to be, I got some hot glue there, this is going to have to be, the longer screw is going to go on the bottom pieces. So we'll take the spacer. I don't even know if the spacer is threaded. Let me see. Yep, it is threaded. So we'll do this. We'll put all the screws and the spacers on the base first. So I'll hang around for a second. This will go fast. Now we'll put the board on it. On the four posts. It's not an it, it's a them. Then we'll screw down the bigger ones. Okay, that's the way that goes. So we will now get back to our coiling. So I'm going to show you the difference. This was the little one I did a while ago, video on the channel. They didn't provide loom for the wire, so you kind of have to position it manually, which is not the easiest thing in the world. So this is very nice to have the loom available to weave everything into. I'm going to strip the ends. I don't know if I'm going to strip the outer end yet, because it may be a while till or it may be too long when I get to it. So we're going to coil from the inside out in a clockwise fashion. Sink it into the loom. Actually, you know, I'm not sure, as I push this in, I'm not sure that I'm going to need to hot glue it. It's fitting pretty tightly. Now I'm going to go that way. So that's one turn. And that's 3 turns, so it is pretty much why you have extra wire. I'm going to try and flatten these out a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to straighten this out for the moment, and now I'm going to see if my hot glue gun is heated up yet. Oh, it has. I'm going to dab some glue along. Okay, now I'm going to trim this one. Where's my... Trim this one a little bit. Strip a little bit of... Actually, I want to get that as close as 2 turns as I can. I'm going to nip it a little closer. Take it outward for a sec. Now we're going to put wire on that, and we're also going to put some shrink wrap on it so we don't get a possibility of it arcing across. I think this is too big. Let me get some other shrink wrap. So this, by the way, you notice this is solid core wire. That'll work well. Not stranded. And we'll stick with the theme, and I'm using solid core 22 gauge. I'm going to use blue for both wires because I'll figure it out. So I'm going to bend this back in like so for a little bit. And I'm going to get my locking tweezers to position this wire and hold it in place. That looks good. That's nice and strong. Now I'll take my shrink wrap. Now I'm going to weave this one down below the coil. Now we're going to solder this to this. And we're going to go over here. I'm going to solder it in place. So let me go ahead and put the screws on. Okay, let me see. So the inner one goes to up, like so, to in, and the outer loop goes to out. That will be great. Don't really want them to cross. That shouldn't make a difference. Now, this lead from the coil goes to L2. I don't know if it'll reach without... No, it'll reach. Could make a bigger one. No, I don't need to. This is a very thin wire here. I'm pretty sure the Nipexes will deal with it, but no. Just a little bit. Pull it out. That I'm going to get that under the coil also, under the primary also. And this is not necessarily clear in the instructions, but the coil lead goes to L2, the position marked L2. And now we can put the copper top on top. I guess that just sits, because it doesn't go around it. Interesting. Just sits on top. So you can take it off and do other things with it. Put a ball on there. Put other things on there. So we're actually ready to fire this thing up. So let me reconfigure the cameras a little bit and we'll get that worked out. This is me from the editing stage of this video. I looked at the demo and realized it was pretty bright in here, and even though I tried to cover the windows, didn't work all that well, so you didn't get a full sense of the spark. So I recorded some more in a very dark room, and I'm going to intercut that with the lighter stuff. So if you see a little disjointedness in the demo section, that's why I wanted you to be able to see the full intensity of the arcs. Enjoy it. Alright, now we've got 12 volts of DC right here. at 3 amps, which is much more than we're going to need, but I'm going to turn it on. The LED should come on. Up, and there's the discharge, quartz discharge tube doing its thing. You can hear it. Now let me bring up a screwdriver close to it. Yep, see the arcs? I can feel it. You can see it down by my hand, I think. If you can see it jumping through the plastic insulation in the screwdriver. Yep. I hope you can see that. Okay, let's turn it on in the dark. There we've got the spark gap firer. Now we'll bring the screwdriver close. You can see that. And also look down at my fingers here. You can see how it's going from the inside metal shaft to my finger through or around the plastic. It's not actually in the plastic. There's one. So that's what it's doing right now. I'm going to change the, oh, see that on the bottom? Down here I'm getting some arcing between there and there. That's interesting. But it works. I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to turn this off for a second. And before I do what I'm going to do, I'm going to discharge the capacitor. I don't think I need to. Oh, yep, it sparked, that's for sure. I don't know if you saw that, but when I put the discharge rod in there, it definitely sparked. So I'm going to pull this discharge tube out and try the other one. One's 300 volts, one's 350. I don't really know the difference. I'm not an expert on Tesla coils. But we'll shove that in there, like so. Okay, now we'll try it with that tube. Ooh, that's a lot quicker, isn't it? See if it makes a brighter spark. I don't think so. Oh no, there it goes. That's good. See if that'll light up the light bulb. No, it doesn't. Oh, you can see it jump into the filament though, can't you? I hope you can. Again, I'm going to do something to try and cover up my window. Hold on, people. I'm going to go ahead and zoom way in on the filament there, and you can see the light dancing around, or the arc dancing around in there. That's kind of neat. So I'm going to kind of take this sideways, see what it does as we go sideways. Oh, look at that. That's a nice color, isn't it? Now one thing, the coil itself, the secondary coil is loose, as you can see. I think I may want to glue that down. I'm going to see if I can prop this up so I can make sure you're getting a good view of this. Let me grab some cat food cans. That's pretty much okay, isn't it? Let me zoom all, it is zoomed all the way in. Get a little better focus on it. So there you go. It's working very well. I think that's the 300 volt discharge tube. Discharge engine. So, oh man. Set it on there. See the way that's going? That's pretty neat, isn't it? And then when I put my hand around the globe, it's go out to the bare filament again. It's pretty cool. So again, that's what it does. Now you can see it in the dark room. And it goes all the way through. Let me zoom out a little bit here. I don't know if you can see this. I have a little power supply that's running my studio clock, and it's got a little yellow, moving the camera, it's got a little yellow fault light, and it's going nutsy with this operating. So the field generated by this coil is going that far away. Let's do my fingers a little bit. So there you go, that's a very good kit. The only thing I'm going to do different is I'm going to hot glue the secondary coil down too, so I can carry this thing around. And well, worth it. I'll put the link in the description as usual. So all good. I hope you enjoyed the video.